Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Fitz and Franson Show. Today, we are going to be talking specifically about pricing. And you've got a sales guy and you got a marketer, and we're talking about how do both of us work together and produce the best possible results for both the business owners, bottom line, and for the customer's experience. So, Matt, it's always great to get together with you and chat more about sales. I like to hear your perspective. I disagree with a lot of it, right? But that's how a marketer is supposed to do.
Well, look, I mean, I get the calls too from all my sales brethren going like, "You keep talking to that marketing guy, you're going to get your card revoked."
That's right. That's right. Kind of a unique take on what we do here. So we're gonna talk about just kind of market positioning and brand perception and how do we strategically do this. So why don't you throw some thoughts out there, Matt?
Well, I know, look, we have the pleasure of working with a lot of different people in different parts of the country and different markets, right? Pentec flooring and windows, doors, siding, roofing, all of these different home remodeling aspects, right? And I joke, there's very few things that I haven't sold into a home at this point and helped a homeowner get resolved in their house. So, I think there's probably only like one or two surfaces in the house that I haven't touched at this point from my career standpoint. And one of the things that's been kind of unique here over the last, I don't know probably about a month, you might say, we've had a lot of people struggling with the idea of costs are going up in a lot of areas, and I don't feel like I can adjust my price to, to accommodate for it, so to speak, right? And because I don't want to be priced out of the market. Have you heard that before recently?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Kind of wild how much of a theme that's become. And I think that there's maybe some just rethinking that needs to happen around that idea, right? And some kind of understanding of what your price means for what you're putting out in the world from your perspective and marketing and the messaging you're setting out there. But then also the message that your salesperson is delivering when they're in the home, right? And having that strategy be, okay, around the idea of what do I want to be in comparison to the rest of the market? Do I want to be the very best or do I want to be average, right? And it's funny because the comfort zone is to stay average because we don't want to scare people up with the price. So, as much conflict as there is, and, our viewers and listeners don't get to see this because for those of you that don't know, Jay and I just scream at each other all day long outside of this call. This is where we play nice. So, look, we're having a lot of these conversations with dealers around the country around their pricing, and there's a real need for them to lift their price, right? I think that's a common theme you're hearing as well, too.
Yep.
Awesome. Yeah. And it is for me as well. But there's a huge fear behind doing that because if I raise my price too much, I'm going to price myself out of the market and I'm going to scare off my customers. I think there's also an underlying thing that we can get into here, too, of like, I don't want to take advantage of somebody, right? And that's good. That means we're working with good people who care about their customers, and that comes across. That's why they're as successful as they are or have been to this point anyway, right? So, but look, I think that all of this starts with the message you put out there, whether it's in a print ad or whether it's in a commercial you shoot on TV or put on Facebook or Google or what have you, right? So, it's okay with you. I want to start with kind of like, how do we make sure that we're priced appropriately, but also how do we make sure that we appear to be priced appropriately when a customer decides to engage with us? So let's start with that, Jay. So when you're putting together an ad and you're looking at kind of where it's going to go, how it's going to go, all of these things, what are you looking at or what are you doing with your team specifically that says, okay, this is the message that's going to, one, attract the right buyer, right, with the right level of finances for who I'm trying to go after. And then also, do you do anything? So when you're looking at it, Jay, when you're putting together those ads, is there anything that you're looking at in particular that's going to say, okay, this is how we attract the right customer in the right area with the right demographics, right? And then also, is there something that you're looking at or adding to there as far as elements go that maybe suggest and or directly punch the customer in the face, so to speak, with it's going to cost this?
Yeah. Yeah, that's great. Powerful Media has been doing social media ads for a long time. And we are primarily focused in getting people's attention there. And on social media, we understand that the meta algorithm favors authentic pictures. And so anytime I onboard a new dealer with Powerful Media, I kind of preach at them and kind of point my finger at them. And I say, a lot of our marketing efforts start with your production guys understanding that the way they install more floors is they take great pictures of the current floors. And this is a price conditioning thing. On the leadership side, quick side note, establish early on in your organization that a job of the production guy is to take great pictures. Almost everybody in the industry knows Company Cam. It's a great program. It's very easy to grab your phone, open Company Cam, take pictures. And what we're doing is we're price conditioning the customers saying, hey, you don't own a $30,000 Lavina grinder. Hey, you don't own the proper PPE to protect yourself from the concrete dust that's going to be kicked up as you prep the floor correctly. Hey, you don't have the cool little shoes with the spikes on that let you walk across the top of the floor, right? And we understand on our side of this, the preparation is everything. We get so many customers that are like, hey, I had somebody do epoxy a year ago. It's already flaking up. And they send us pictures and the concrete wasn't even prepped. It looks like they just poured epoxy on the floor and rolled it out and said, hey, give me my $800 or whatever it is, And so when we talk to our customers about content, the pictures are absolutely everything in prepping the customer to see the process. These are trained professionals. This isn't cheap. These guys probably went to school to do this. I don't have that equipment. I don't think I want to do this myself.
Sure.
Right. And so we're going to use the images to tell that story. And then we're very relational on social media. We thank the homeowners. We say, hey, thank you for having us out. It was a pleasure working with you. And then we thank the installers, preferably by name.
That's cool.
Thank you, Dan and Andy, for coming out to Mr. and Mrs. Jones's house and taking the time and having the attention to detail to do a great, floor. So we don't, on social media, we don't typically put a lot of effort into promoting discounts on the message campaigns. We're really trying to get the people to just have a conversation with us. We move them to a private message, and that is where we say, oh, we're actually offering some great deals right now. I know we have a discount up to this amount. On social media, if we run a lead form or a lead gen, that's where the customer is more like a Google lead where they were looking for it. Right. And there we're going to have the hook that says save up to $500 off or, 0 interest, 24 months, same as cash or easy payments, floors as low as $80 a month. We're going to throw those things out there. And it's a great way to let the customer know, wait, if I have to finance this, okay, it's not $800. It's not $1,200. And we prefer large dollar amounts. We know that social psychology, if I say, hey, save 10%, people are like, 10% of what?
Right.
Is it 10% of $10? Is it a buck? Is it 10% of $10,000? And so we don't typically do percentages off. We do a hard dollar amount. We say, hey, up to 500.
Right.
Most people know that discount is really probably 10%. And so they go $500, times 100, it's probably $5,000 is the average ticket item. And so a lot of the consumers, they're smart. They know how to shop around. They know how to get a good deal. And so that dollar amount is a great way to set the precedence early on with, this isn't cheap. It isn't a $500 floor. You could save $500.
Sure.
Here in our local shop, we actually do up to $750 off. A lot of dealers have a hard time with that discount because they don't understand that it's up to.
Sure.
If it's a one-car garage, they're not saving $750. They're saving $150.
Yeah. It's weird how that, in the organizations I've worked with and work for, that A/B test between the percentage off and the dollar off, right? Unless there is already established out in the market, like, hey, this is a high ticket item, the percentage off really doesn't work at all, right? I mean, it's almost like a deterrent. Like, I'll call next month when they're offering something that's real, right? That weird, that dollar sign in front of that number makes a big difference comparatively to the percentage sign at the end of the number. It's funny, as I was tasked with helping be responsible for run these different departments, I never in a million years would have thought that made a big difference, but it really does. It's bananas how that is a thing that a homeowner latches onto, and it might be a $500 discount is less than what we can actually give them, but they want the $500 discount more. You may not have been on these calls because you're on the front side of the business, but on the back side of the business as a sales rep, like I've gotten calls later on where it's like, hey, I see this ad for $400 off the project. Can I get that even though I already purchased? I'm like, I'm happy to do that, Mr. and Mrs. Jones, but you might be mad at me because I got to charge you more because I can't combine the two. You got the better of the deal with the percentage off. Oh, okay. I'm cool. Thank you. Keep ordering my material and bring it out. Right. Kind of thing. It's weird how that works. You mentioned a really good point about the installers or technicians needing to be at least decent photographers, right? We don't need them to give us, something that's going to hang in a museum, but it needs to be really good and clear. This is a battle we fight with sales reps and with installers about like the importance of this is what helps put food on your table. So we need to make sure we're good. Do you ever have conversations with your dealers about the quality of an installer's phone? Because I know like when I'm doing DIY projects in my house, that thing gets tossed everywhere and like, and the screen's cracked and the thing's, broken on the backside. Like, do you ever encourage a dealer to go out and say like, hey, look, it might be a worthwhile investment to get your team an iPad and or a iPhone or something along those lines. It's going to take better pictures because right now the Nokia brick isn't getting it done for us.
Yeah, I definitely. And we're to what? I think we're at the iPhone 16 now. I think an iPhone 10 at that point, the camera was good enough.
Sure.
But I actually do training with production guys for my customers where I talk them through how to set their phone up.
Yeah.
Do the 0.5 lens, do the wide angle so you grab the whole garage. Make sure you take pictures of each other. Yeah, and really showcase the work that needs to be done. But yeah, it's pretty easy. The majority of phones out there right now are good enough.
Yeah,
it's the sweat on the lens, it's the cracked lens, it's those things. But as far as quality of phones, they go pretty well.
Yeah, I like the take pictures of each other too. Appropriate. We don't need a picture of Johnny taking a leak at the side of the truck or something like that, right? But good picture of them actually doing the work is a good thing. And it should be part of your training process, right? Like this is the angle that you need to take it from. These are the before and after like shots and take them from the same spot. Like how often do you see that where it's like the before is from like, I don't know, a blimp and the after is from like, their army crawling over. It's so different that it's like, I can't tell that these are the same places, kind of thing. So,
yeah. And when it comes to the images, we do a lot of video as well. But video is kind of hit or miss per markets. We find that across the country, a good collage of 5 to 9 images still performs better than a video.
Interesting.
Videos are great for brand awareness. They're great for views. But when it comes to like raw lead gen, you have to have really specific videos. And it's difficult across the country to find talent that's willing to be on the camera or that understands how to take great shots. And so for a smaller dealer, it's a lot easier to help them get their production guys up to, a minimum standard of taking good pictures.
Yeah.
And we run great after picture and ugly before picture, both preferably from the same angle. Mm-hmm. And then we run a bunch of during pictures of the guys in their gear, their PPE, the equipment that they're lugging around. And it continues to drive interest and conversations.
Sure.
And we're willing, we always tell our customers are like, well, how many pictures should I take? And our answer is usually kind of silly. It's all of them. Take all of the pictures.
As you can, right?
Yeah. Is like 3 enough? No, like 30. Take 30 to 60 per project.
One of the things that's a good idea, if you're not doing it, we did this actually from a sales perspective, with different product line, right? We were doing bathrooms, but what we found was if we got good enough pictures of the inspection and the measurement, we actually didn't have to send a technician back out to like remeasure for ordering purposes. So we originally asked the reps, these are the pictures we need. And I'll give you, one guess as to how it went in that manner. And it's not very good is the hint I'll give you too, right?
Yeah.
But when we gave them a specific, like it was a laminated sheet of like an example, this is the picture we need for this. This is the picture we need for this. This is the picture we need for this. We got two things out of it. One, we got really great, measurement photos and could order. And very rarely did we have to send somebody out. There's cost savings there. That's huge, right? But two, we were able to provide our marketing department with like, here's some really great before pictures, great angles, tight shots of X, Y, or Z, because we're making them do it. And it was a requirement. It was part of their contract that they had to turn in. These were I think we had like 12 pictures that they needed to take. And then the installers had to take same thing. We gave them, laminated sheet. Here are the process photos that we need you to take every single time. You and I have talked about this in other, conversations about leadership. Like the second you stop talking about it means you don't give a damn about it, and they don't either, right? And you have to talk about the same stuff over and over and over again. And if they have that laminated sheet, there is no excuse. Like that's the angle, it, because it's like ordering off of a fast food menu. Like I want that picture or that number, right? Kind of thing. It's super easy to train and it's super easy to be repeatable. So it's a great point. And if you think about too, like you talked about, most phones these days have a good enough camera to do it. Think about the investment it would take you as a business owner to get a professional photographer to go around for, let's say, a week to take the photos that you're looking for. Compare that to the cost of like buying a phone for the truck or a camera for the truck. It's nothing, right? So, I mean, when you're looking at cost savings and needing to do that and being able to generate leads, like that's a worthwhile investment. There's no doubt about that. It always kind of wowed me that we weren't willing to spend that money in certain, companies or certain areas, because it's like, this is something that feeds the beast. Why wouldn't we do this?
Yeah. So, yeah. And it's nice to have the conversation with everybody on the team, because, we've talked before that a lot of businesses start because the guy can do the work and they're production minded. And then they did a bunch of work and then realized their calendar's empty. So then they start to go into marketing and go, well, how do I get more people to see what I do and be interested? And it really does start with production takes great pictures of what they do. On social media, you can tag the place you're in. Mm-hmm. You can run an ad that says, hey, Pentec Coatings is feeling excited in Lakeville, Minnesota. Mm-hmm. And you could throw some hashtags that are specific to what you're doing. And so the better you can showcase, oh, that's my neighbor's house, right? It's the keeping up with the Joneses type of thing. And obviously we know all of the other branding that goes into this. Wrap your trailer, wrap your truck, put signs in the yard, put door hangers on the neighbors. I have one customer that he does a door hanger with like a $5, probably needs to be $10, a $10 coffee gift card. And a little postcard that says, hey, just want to let you know we're at your neighbor's house. We're going to be making some noise today. Mm-hmm. If you want to get away from the noise, have a coffee on us. Right. That's just brilliant. It's like, oh, this guy's in my community and taking care of the neighbors. That's phenomenal.
So you got $5 for the cup of coffee, probably 50 cents for the door hanger based off of how many you order, right? Maybe even less than that, depending on if you order enough of them. The other thing I'll encourage people to do, and this helps out in the marketing world, and again, I'm going to get my sales card revoked here real hard. Make them specific, like put a QR code and make it specific to the truck. And every time a lead gets generated by that truck, because they're hanging door hangers, like give them a spiff or a bonus on it, right? Like give them encouragement to do it. You're $5 in, 50 cents for the hanger, and give them another $100. Would you not pay $105 for a lead right now?
Oh man, and it'd be such a good lead.
Oh, it's going to be great. And like one of the things too, like could you leave an empty line on there where the crew could write the address of where they went if they get the permission from the homeowner, so that like door hanger is there, guy gets home from work, he gets a door hanger, go, Bill got his floor done, right? Like I'm going to go talk to Bill. Like I've been thinking about doing that. You got a slam dunk lead at that point for $105.
Yeah.
Like that's like, why aren't we doing that? Make them for your salespeople too. Just finished getting the Joneses taken care of, and we'll be installing in 4 weeks or whatever it is, give me a call if you want us to come out and help you out as well too. Like, and these are the silly things that I feel like nobody ever really thinks about, and sales reps aren't encouraged to do, or installers aren't encouraged to do. And one of the questions that'll come up is like, well, what's in it for me? Well, I mean, it drives me nuts as a leader and a business owner, I'm sure, right? It does the same is, well, it generates opportunities for you to sell stuff, and that's how you make money, right? Or how to install stuff, and that's how you make money. But sometimes that little bit extra is good. The other thing you can do too, and I don't know if you guys do this at Powerful, but it might be a cool thing to hey, we're going to send a $100 gift card to the guy that got us the best photo of the month, right? The installer gets us the best photo every month. We're going to get them a $100 gift card. Then we'll do that competition for you in your building, right? But owners can do that themselves too. Now everybody loves to compete in this industry, even the installers, right? So I want to see your best floor for the month. Take pictures. And best one, we'll put it to a committee vote, and that person or that truck gets they get lunch on us for the week or whatever it is, right? Kind of thing. Again, you're talking about a no cost lead generation tool.
Yeah. Yeah. And the competition thing is really true. We've talked previously about our employees want to know what winning looks like. Mm-hmm. And when we show them that, driving business is winning, and, we kind of started this conversation about pricing. We want to be associated with great organizations. Mm-hmm. The jokes are our biggest competitors are a Chuck in a truck or a man in a van, right? And we aren't the guy that shows up in a white, banged up, rusty van with no logos on it. And we don't walk in and say, oh, I'll do it for $2 a square foot. We show up with logoed equipment, logoed everything. And we're ready to have a good quality conversation with the customer. And customers understand that costs money. Yeah. It's a great way to present to them, hey, we're well equipped. We're articulate, we're intelligent, we're branded well. If you're a part of our organization, there's a good chance that we will take care of you. That Chuck in a truck, he's going to be gone tomorrow for good.
Yeah.
He could install floors. He offered the lowest price possible. He's not going to back it up. There's going to be no warranty. He's not going to take care of you. And if he's not out installing floors, he doesn't have time for you.
Yeah.
And so I think it's really important to put that in front of the customers. A great experience across the board.
100%. And I will say this too. I think one of the things that's funny is you say man in a van, right? We were all at very young ages just taught to stay away from the man in the van. If not, that doesn't change for us here, right? Yeah, even if they got great candy selection, stay away from that man in the van, right? Okay. But people generally don't want to do cheap things to their home, right? Like that's like a pretty universal rule. Like if you were to ask, hey, do you want to do the cheap thing? It's going to make the hair on the back of the neck stand up for those homeowners. So it's an interesting question here. And so if we look at it and we talk about kind of getting back to the pricing conversation, right? And the idea that people generally don't want to do cheap things to their home. They also want to know what the price is. And I know that's a struggle that marketing deals with on a regular basis when they're trying to set a lead and qualify a lead. But probably one of the most common questions, if not the most common question, is how much is my house, right? Yeah. So I used to start most of my training manuals with, look, marketing's job is to get us to a door that's going to open, and sales' job is to get in the door and sell it, right? So how do you train your people to navigate that conversation of, hey, we got a great product and a great service we're going to offer you, but I can't tell you the price, because if I tell you it's going to be $7,000, $8,000 and you were expecting it to be $3,000, the likelihood of you setting an appointment with me is probably going to be pretty slim. So how are you training your people to navigate that?
Yeah, that's a great question. And the how much does it cost is the question. And we dodge that question a bunch of different ways. So, I have a pretty simple process at Powerful Media, and I agree with you 100%. It's the sales guy's job to tell a story. Mm-hmm. It's marketing's job to get the invitation to tell a story. And so when we run ads, like we discussed earlier, great after picture, ugly before picture, pictures of the guys doing the work. Customer comes in, clicks message and says, hey, I have a garage just like the one in the picture. How much? My team says, hey, thanks for your interest in a garage. We love working with garages.
Yeah.
Didn't answer their question. And then we say, can you tell me a little bit more about your garage? Have you noticed any significant cracks, pits, or stains on the surface? And we're doing two things. One is we are trying to qualify a little bit, right? The customer's like, it's actually gravel. I don't really want to send a sales rep to a gravel floor. Nobody wins there, right? And so usually we're verifying the surface. We have a lot of aggregate across the country. We have a lot of customers that are uneducated that think that you can coat asphalt, you can coat, deeply stamped concrete around pools and stuff like that. And so the other thing that we're doing is we're kind of the social psychology of it is I want you to acknowledge that you actually hate this floor.
Yeah.
And I want you to take pause and go, oh, my kid had a truck that leaked oil and he parked on my garage floor for a year and the floor looks terrible.
Yeah.
Right. And we've heard all kinds of things. We get a lot of them that are like, oh, there's a lot of paint on the floor from my wife doing projects. Fair enough. Yeah, I get that, man. My dogs are in the garage. And so the dogs will, have accidents on the floor. It's just kind of gross. And then we can come back and say, oh, we can absolutely help with those things. Pits and stains aren't a problem. And in fact, our product is antibacterial, antimicrobial. And then the next question is, what's the location of the project? We've asked it a few ways. Whereabouts are you located? What's the location of the project? Where do you live? Sounds a little creepy.
Yeah.
Where do you live? We're turning into the man in the van.
Where do you live? Am I looking at you right now? Is this?
Yeah, that's right. And so then we just, it's just continuing this relationship building, but for obvious reasons, are you in our service area?
Yeah.
Can we get to you? We do our best on marketing to do geo-targeting to make sure that our ad dollars are being spent in the area that they should be. But social media, we've had people share posts. Somebody comes in from Hawaii. Well, there are dealers in Hawaii now. Puerto Rico. We actually get Puerto Ricans that say, hey, do you guys come to Puerto Rico? And it's because they flew through an airport in Texas or in Florida and they saw the ads and they reached out and said, okay, where are you located? I'm in Puerto Rico. Hey, we're not going to be able to help you out.
For the record. And J&L will go run that appointment for you in Puerto Rico.
That's right.
No problem.
That's right. We'll get it done for you.
Yeah.
And so they confirm it in the service area, and that's question 3. What's the project? What's the condition? Where are you located? And then the last question is, hey, next best steps would be to have somebody come out and take a look with you.
Yeah.
One of my design consultants, we call them a design consultant or a design specialist. Design consultant can come out, they can take a look with you. They'll bring samples. They actually need to take a couple of measurements of the surface. They'll do all of that for you, and they'll answer any of the questions you have. What day's today? Friday. Would Tuesday at 10 a.m. work? And some of them are like, whoa, I just wanted a price. I don't want anybody out until you give me a price. I say, I totally understand you need to know pricing. And in social media, our kind of deflection is, we avoid giving pricing online. It just causes problems. You know how social media is. And then usually that's enough. Like, people know that you don't say certain things on the internet. We have all kinds of Hollywood superstars that have said things on the internet that they regret. Right? Yeah. Pictures or phrases. It's like, so-and-so said this on Twitter or on X, and then they, it's there forever.
I got a 7-year-old and I'm terrified of his access to the internet and knowing what my dumb brain was doing when I was, middle school, teenage stuff. Yeah. Like, thank God I didn't have access to the internet, kind of thing.
Yeah. Oh, I know. Yeah. So we tell them what to expect. Somebody's going to come out and we say it'll take about 45 minutes. They can get you a price there. And most people are okay with it. And what we found is the people that are like, we've heard it all. F you, I don't know how you can run a business this way. Good luck. You'll be out of business in a year.
Sure.
Those are tire kickers. Those are people that want cheap. And my team is very good at handling the naysayers and the negative people. And when we bring on new dealers to our team, they're like, I'm so sick of Facebook. They're just mean people on there all the time. And we laugh. We jokingly say that We call Friday, I'm going to curse here on this podcast, we call it Fuck You Friday. We have a WhatsApp group where every Friday, one of my team members has somebody tell them to F off. They screen grab it, they share it to the WhatsApp group, and they say, hey, happy Friday, everybody.
That's great.
Yeah, inevitably, you're going to have those people. And so we just turned it into, oh, they're not our customer.
Yeah.
And so then we schedule the appointment. We put it on a sales rep's calendar. We're going to throw notes in there. It's a 2-car garage. It's got some oil stains. They're also interested in maybe their back porch or something like that. And then we're done. You talked earlier about it. It is frustrating for the marketing team to lose track of these because we like to know that the work we're doing is getting sold. You and I talked about one of our customers before the call, and they were super excited that they sold a $12,000 project on financing. Marketing wants to hear that.
Absolutely.
Marketing wants to hear that the leads that they're putting on the sales guys' calendars are getting sold. And so anytime I hear those things, I turn around and I throw it in my group chat with my team and say, hey, another big one sold. Biggest one we've heard of for concrete coatings was over $300,000. Yeah, that is a massive project.
Yeah. Rep took the rest of the month off after that one.
Right.
It's funny because, we joke about the conflict between marketing and sales and it's real. But I think one of the things that's very interesting when you get to like peek behind the curtain in leadership, right? In sales leadership, marketing leadership, whatever it might be, you understand that nobody's out to get you as a rep and nobody's out to like, well, I'm just like throwing stuff against the wall as a marketer, right?
Yeah.
But the emotion that's there as a salesperson is always very real because they drove, however far they drove to have a door slammed in their face or somebody that has no money or, won't give them the time of day. And they got to lash out at somebody, right? And the person they're going to lash out to is marketing. And, one of the things that I would always ask, my reps in that case was, okay, well, a couple of things. And I think you do a similar thing when you're talking to, your dealers, but I would ask them like, hey, of the 30 that you've run this month, how many have been like this? Okay. So it's like 10% of it. I can go make this my number one priority. Do you want me to focus on 10% of the leads? Or do you want me to focus on 90% of the leads? No, 90%. Okay. Well, also here, let me ask this other question. What do you think I'm going to do with the marketing department if we all of a sudden run 300 leads this month and we don't sell any of them because we went to the wrong place at the wrong time with people that didn't have money, that didn't want to give you the time of day to give a presentation and do the things you need to do in order to have a shot at being successful? What do you think I'm going to do? Well, I don't know. Well, I'll tell you what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut their budget and or let people go because we can't afford to keep doing it that way. So, what does winning look like? It's we all get to, and this is the part that I think both marketing and sales forget, we get to install and collect a paycheck.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't happen unless marketing does a good job of giving us enough quality opportunities. Yep. And sales doesn't do a good job of keeping your head screwed on right and going in and giving a phenomenal presentation that's focused on the customer and ending up with a contract. The people that really suffer if marketing isn't doing it the way we need to do it is production and the people that are installing the floor. And, adversely all of us, because it's a full cycle that continually feeds itself, right? Marketing spends money to get people to pick up the phone and call us and set an appointment. Sales spends money to put quality trainings together and quality people in the home to sell jobs. Install does quality job on installs to ultimately do the thing that we're all after, which is collect a check or, finance payment or whatever it is from that homeowner. None of that happens if marketing just goes like, I don't care about anybody else after this, right? Like there may have been people like that, but they don't last very long because I can't afford to pay them much longer if we don't sell jobs, install them, and collect payment on it, period. Yeah. Like, there is no argument about this. And, I understand your frustration. I get it. It stinks to drive an hour and a half across town and have a door slammed in your face. That stinks. And is there occasionally something we could have done better? Sure. But for the vast majority of it, we do it the way we're supposed to do it, because if I don't, then I don't get paid either as a marketer. And like we lose sight of that in that like flash of red that comes across us as a sales rep, which again, I've been there. I've shared with you that I have yelled at your people on a regular basis in my head, mostly, holding onto the wheel. People probably think I'm a crazy person driving down the road in those scenarios, but get it out of your system and on to the next one.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah. And one of the things we haven't actually grabbed, and I think that we can talk a little bit more about in the pricing thing. We've talked about offering a discount and offering financing and prepping the customer that this isn't cheap. And, on the marketing side with my team, my schedulers, I talk to them about the quality of the product that we sell, and they get frustrated too. All I get, Jay, day after day is how much does it cost? And I can't tell them. Mm-hmm. And we say, well, we can let them know that, our product manufacturer is this, we are, top in the industry. And you can talk a little bit about the sales side of it too. Is I've heard tons of sales guys come to me and say, I can't sell your leads. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, well, these are good people. They're qualified. They understand the process. They understand the product. They're interested. What's wrong? Yep. And I, with a little bit of fact finding, I found out that they want to sell cheap.
Yeah.
I go, oh, you don't understand the quality of the product you're selling.
Yeah.
So what do you see on the sales side of this when you're dealing with sales guys that are also struggling with pricing?
So I'm a little blunt with this when we have the conversation with individuals, right? Or teams of salespeople. I'm a big believer in this, that there is not a company in the world that's going to train their people to go in to start with advertising that says this, or go into a home and sell saying things like, we're pretty good. Our installers, they're okay, right? They're what we could afford, right? Or, the product, like, yeah, it's pretty average, super average, right? Like nobody does that. Yeah. Nobody does that. And yet as a sales rep, like we want to try to find a way to like get it in the middle, right? Pardon my, directness, but that's dumb. And you said it earlier, homeowners aren't dumb anymore, right? They weren't dumb to begin with. They just didn't have access to as much information as they have today. So our consumer is significantly more prepared and educated for what they're doing, whether they'll admit it to you or not. They're prepared and educated on what they're getting into. They know about what it can be. They're hopeful it's going to be less, but they know that, hope in one hand, do something in the other, which is going to fill up faster, right? So I would tell reps all the time, like if you're continually getting price objection, it's not that we're priced too high. It's that your story stinks. Mm-hmm. Because somebody's going to go in there and charge more than what they need to charge to actually do an install, because you got to run a business with it, right? And they're going to buy from them, but they're not buying the product and they're not buying the price. They're buying the story that's being told to them. Okay. So we need to look at your story and why it stinks so much, right? And how do we get the value in the story to match the value of the price that you're going to show at the end? And the third part of that is, how do we get them to believe you and buy into that? And you made a really great point. Most of the time, it's because you as a sales rep, you don't believe it. You don't believe in the value of what you're doing. And I always had a mindset of like, if I walk out of this house, I know definitively there is nobody else on the planet besides me that is going to work as hard to take care of this customer and make sure that they are getting what they need and what they want. Okay. There might be people out there that can do it as well as me or at the level that I'm going to do it at, but nobody's going to do it better than me, period. Like that I believe that in my core, and I'm not going to work for a company that cuts corners and cheats customers out of money. Like I wouldn't do it. I only ever applied to jobs if I was like, this is one of the best in the area. Right. I mean, why would I work anywhere else? I don't want to walk in and sell crap. Like I want to walk in and sell something that I feel good about, that I get compliments from the homeowner on. Thank you for talking me into this or pushing me to get this done. I couldn't have been, more hesitant at first, but I couldn't be more happy now. Right. So we use like, I'll give you an example, right? So like cost versus value is one of those things where I see guys do this all the time. And it's, cost versus value, price conditioning, however you're doing it. All right. But it's trying to get the homeowner to realize So, it's funny. I asked this question, and maybe it'd be fun to ask you this question. What do you think the purpose of price conditioning is in a home?
The purpose of price conditioning in a home?
Yeah.
To convey value.
Yeah. So you're too smart, man. You give a much better educated answer than most, right? And most reps are going to tell you, so I need them to lift their number.
Mm-hmm.
I say bullshit. You cannot make them have more money or be willing to magically come up with an idea that they're going to spend more money. So we just talked about how your team doesn't give a price on the phone. You're not unique.
Yeah.
Everybody does that, because if I gave the price, nobody set an appointment. I only need one salesperson, and they're not really a salesperson. They're a contract collector, right? So the number that a homeowner is thinking, let's use 3,000 as the example, and I know it's going to be 7. Where did they get that number? They made it up. They made up the number. They went out of thin air, or they talked to their brother who got it done 17 years ago. Yeah. And it cost 3,000 then, and they expect it to be the same. So the point of price conditioning isn't to get them to close the gap between where you know it's going to be and where they think it's going to be. It's simply to, and I'm not as educated as you, Jay, so I'm going to use a word that's probably made up, but it's to invalidate or point out the fact that their number is false. Yeah. It's not based in reality, right? You're living in rainbow land, and these are real numbers that really exist. So I just need you to admit, maybe not even out loud, but to admit that the number you were thinking is a make-believe number. That's it. Because now we can deal with facts and reality, right? And that's the important thing about it. And again, it's just one of those things where I see guys do this all the time, where they go through this price conditioning and they can see the homeowner kind of slowly just being beat down by it. And they want to be a pleaser, and they will immediately go, don't worry, we have discounts, or don't worry, this isn't your pricing, or some variation of that. What the hell was the point of doing all of that? You just told them that I wasted 5 minutes of your time by telling you all that, because it doesn't matter. Forget everything I just said to you. And you and I have talked about this. We go through a process in every appointment of hey, let me tell you about our company and how great we are. Look at our reviews. We're the best company. Let me tell you about our product and our installation. Our installers are the best. They are, employees. They're trained at a high level. They're the absolute best. So the Navy SEALs of installers, right? And then our product, it's the best warranty, the best coverage, the best this, that, or the other. Best. But the price is average. Don't worry.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, again, they're more educated than they've ever been. They're smarter than they've ever been. I'm surprised none of them don't ask us okay, well, what did you lie to me about before then?
Mm-hmm.
Because if I walk onto a Mercedes lot, that guy's not telling me hey, it's the best car you're going to get, but we price it at the average level. No, if you want to pay an average price, you can go down to a Ford or a Chevy lot. Those are good cars, and you can pay a lesser price. But if you want something that's going to drive different, that's going to last longer, that's going to be better engineered, that's what it costs, man. Period.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and I think that another interesting, this kind of social psychology is when you're in the business of driving value, you're also driving identity.
Yeah.
And so you have customers that want the badge of the product on it. They want other people to see it. And so when we're selling that to customers, we're saying, who do you see yourself as? And what type of people and organizations do you associate with? And I think that that's part of it too. Like you talked about the floor being $3,000 17 years ago. Part of that, the job of the salesperson is just to educate.
Mm-hmm.
You've told stories about, I'm surprised, that much. So, and setting the customer up saying, well, if you work with us, you're going to get the best of the best, but you pay for it.
Yeah.
Everybody knows their Mercedes-Benz is, $100,000, $200,000, but I can go buy a Prius.
Sure.
And those are, I think that one of the things that I find difficult to convey to my customers is not everybody is your customer. And they're like, oh, but I believe in the product, so everybody should be my customer. It's like, but they're not going to be. So let's go find your customers.
And how powerful is it as a rep, a marketer? Hey, this isn't for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
I want your business, but I don't need it.
Yep.
I would love to get your business and earn your business, but if this isn't for you, that's okay too, because the next person is going to buy from me anyway. And that's a hard thing to like wrap your head around, right? And like be comfortable and confident with, but like that's the reality. Like I sell the best product for the best company. Like our phone's not going to stop ringing, and the contracts will keep coming in regardless. Like you're not putting us out of business by telling me no, I can't afford it or I can't do it or any of these other things. So the beautiful thing is I don't have to give you any pressure at all as a salesperson or as a marketer, right? Like we're going to be okay. And I don't need to justify my pricing to you, because if you want it done right and you want your home and your customer process to be taken care of the right way, that's what it costs.
Yeah.
Right. It's, I was, I had a rep that I went on a ride along with one time. He's a good friend of mine now. He actually became a sales manager with me at one point too. And, he was killing it. And I said, okay, I'm coming with you on a ride along today. And he was like, oh, okay. This is when I was his boss at the time. And I was like, I hear the eye roll in the text message you just sent me. What's going on? He goes, I'll tell you when you get here. I'm like, okay. And so we get there and he goes, all right, so I'm doing something that you're not going to like. And I went, this is a great start to your ride along, right? Before we even said hello to the customer, you're telling me I'm not going to like it.
Yeah.
And you're doing something that's working. And I was like, are you like lying to them about it? And he's like, no. It's just when we get to cost versus value, I need you to have no reaction. And don't say a word, don't do anything. And I was like, I feel like I'm getting set up here for something, but okay, let's see what we do. So this is a window of when we go on it. And we go in and, cost versus value has like, here's what a mid-grade window is. Here's what upscale window costs, right? And here is the specs on the window. What he did was take our pricing tool and build that exact window. And was like, so they're telling me the average is, for mid-grade is this, and for an upscale is this. This is what our window costs. Guess what? And the retail price of it was like $2,000 more than the upscale, right? And then he subtly throws in there. He goes, so we got to measure all yours to figure out. Some of them might be bigger, some might be smaller, but this is going to be probably an average list cost for windows in most homes we're in. Okay. Now the great news is I took care of a homeowner just like you. Yeah, actually very similar project. And it was, about the same number of windows. I think it was about $300 a month. So did I explain all that? Okay. Yeah. Okay, great. And would that be comfortable for you in the budget? Well, I don't know. I hadn't thought about it. Okay, no worries. I got to go run out to the car, grab my tape measure, right? And I'll be right back. We can walk around and measure the windows. I walked out of the house. I was like, thank you for preparing me to like not say anything, because I thought you were a lunatic. And like, you just killed the sale for sure. Like you just showed them that it's going to be 4 times as much as they were hoping it's going to be. And he's like, I'm telling you, watch, something's different when I go into the house. And we went back into the house. Sure enough, everywhere we went, they're like, hey, what would that change on the monthly budget? Right. And it was this weird, like, where they were, and we're not like just, hey, this is what the rep wants me to believe land, right? This is like, we're in reality, and like, you want what I got for you because you're going to do the project. We're the right company for you. This is the right product. Now it's a matter of finding a way to make it fit in the budget. Right. And it was weird. It was like, I walked out, he sold it, and I was like, cool, you're training this at our next sales meeting, just so you know. And he was like, no, I don't want it. And I was like, well, as your boss, you have to. Yeah. Right. Yeah. And he did. And some guys like could do it. Some guys were like, oh, I'm going to kill every sale. And I'm like, it is the price. The difference there was what he's saying is, this is it. And I think one of the takeaways, and forgive me for like going on a rant at this point, but in our industry, there is a race in one of two directions. You're either racing to the top to be the best that you can be, or you're part of like the majority, like the man in the van, who's racing to the bottom to be as cheap as you can possibly be. People don't want to do cheap things to their home. If they can afford the best, they will buy it. You just have to find the path that makes it affordable for them. But you have to be transparent and honest with them that, hey, this is what it's going to cost. And to your point earlier too, you have to believe that it's worth every penny, because when I walk out the door, the chances of them going with somebody else and having that person take advantage of them skyrockets. And I'm not okay with that on my conscience, period.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good stuff. We've rambled back and forth about this stuff. You know, we're in an industry where things aren't cheap, and we've partnered with companies that provide top-notch products. And it's a big deal to shift mindsets of owners, marketers, salespeople, and even the production guys about focusing on, if we provide the best, then it will be priced accordingly. And we're excited to do that.
Yeah. You want to be different in every way.
Yeah. I have a funny story. I don't do it anymore, but I used to do the scheduling alongside my team when they needed help. And I was working on a Saturday and making a outbound phone call to a lady. She's in California. And I got her on the phone. No joke. She answered the phone while she was in a car wash. So okay. It started off super well. We were yelling at each other.
Perfect.
Right? Yeah. Yeah. And she's like, well, how much is it going to be? Yelling at me. And I was trying to
can't hear you.
Yeah. And then finally she had the wisdom to say, let me call you back in 5 minutes. Right. And I'm like, I'm booking this appointment. I will stay on this phone call as long as, car washes don't last forever. I said, great. And she did actually call me back. And she was like, I really just want to know how much it costs before I go ahead with this. And this dealer we were working with had given us permission to offer a minimum project price. And there's a way to present that. Yeah. And I said, well, to be honest, ma'am, I have no idea what your project's going to cost. There's a lot of variables that go into it, but I can tell you that for us to pay our guys a living wage, for us to run a great organization, for us to, pay for gas and equipment, all these things, projects start at about $2,000. And this was a couple of years ago coming out of COVID, and the big buzzword was living wage, right?
Yeah.
And I said, for us to pay our team a living wage. And she goes, that makes perfect sense. I love it. Let's get booked. And so what I sold her on isn't the cost of the floor. I sold her on, we're a great organization that takes care of our people. Are you interested in being a part of this?
Yeah.
And the car wash part was kind of just comical because you never know where these people are going to be when you call them. I always joke with my team members that work day shift that they're probably talking to these people while they're hiding in a bathroom stall at work.
Yeah.
They're like, I don't want to be at my desk. And then they're sitting on a toilet texting us on their phones.
Yeah, you take an extra 10 minutes there, no problem, right?
Yeah.
It's a good point, right? So like, I think I said earlier that I think one of the fears that some people have, whether they admit it or it's conscious or subconscious for them, as far as an owner and deciding how much the price is, like, well, I don't want to take advantage of a customer. I don't want to like cheat them or overprice it or price gouge or whatever variation of that you want to say. But that right there is a great example of like, they also don't want to cheat you out of what you're worth, right? And the only way they're going to ask for more off is if they believe you're not worth what you're asking for. And that really starts with your belief as to whether or not you believe you're worth an extra $1 more per foot or whatever it is that you're pricing for, right? And I've sold the highest ticket item in markets, and the close rate is as high, if not higher, for those, because this is the price to work with a great organization, like you said. And we're going to take care of you in your home unlike anybody else that you'll have an experience with. Like at the end of this, you're going to be left with the floor no matter who you go with, or windows or siding or roofing, whatever it is, you'll be left with that. You'll be left with it. Most people don't talk about the product that much in their reviews when they give good reviews. They talk about their experience. Well, if I want to hire good installers, I got to pay them not just a good living wage, but I got to pay them at the top of the market to make sure I have the best people. I want to have good salespeople that are going to take good care of you, not sell you stuff that you don't need, but like sell you what you need and maybe a little bit of what you want, right? Then I need to pay good good amount for those people. Like they're worth it. And if I need to have good marketers and good people answering the phone, like I got to pay a good wage for that. And in order to deliver you a great experience, this is what it costs.
Yep.
You can go cheaper, but are you willing to sacrifice the installer's quality? No. Would you be willing to give up your warranty? No. Would you be willing to like have had my person who set the call with you, on the phone, I don't know, curse at you and be making dinner for the kids or whatever in the background and you can't hardly understand what you're getting into? No. Then it sounds like you're getting exactly what you want for what it costs. Seems pretty simple to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, it's not for everybody. We understand that.
Yeah. But it is fun to be on the winning team.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And that's what it is. I think, you got to charge what you're worth, right? And there's two things that go up every single year in our industry. You know what they are? If you're doing things the right way in your business, the price and the close rate. Right. And I used to have guys go like, another price increase, this is going to be ridiculous. Like, well, you guys messed up last year because they raised the price the same amount and you closed 2 points higher. Like, so what's that telling us is that, hey, you know what? The market is saying like there's more there to go get. And the more concrete we are in our profit margin and the more comfortable we are on that, the more stable our company is, the more things we can do for our community, the more things we can do for our customer base. Like we become a greater organization when there's an extra dollar in the account because we charged appropriately. Yeah. I can pay you better bonuses. I can pay you to, take a trip if you hit certain marks, these kinds of things that owners do for incentives for people. That doesn't exist if you're cutting your teeth as close as you possibly can on every single job. Yeah, the customer that bought it is going to be happy because they're going to get a great product at the end and they're going to have not paid anything for it. But to your point, and you're not going to last very long and they're going to be really disappointed if something goes wrong in 5 years and you're not there to take care of it like you promised them you would. Or you got to go like, now I got to charge you a service fee that's beyond like industry standards because I can't afford to take off from this other job to come fix the job that's already been paid for and installed.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. This is an important conversation to have, and I'll put a bow on it. Matt and I both have a lot of industry experience, and we love helping small businesses. Yeah, one of the things that we love about what we do is we're not helping mega corporations get richer. We're helping small businesses run successful organizations, build great teams, provide great services. And so if anybody has interest in learning more about the sales side, the marketing side, leadership in general, how to develop teams, how to train, we're here to help. So you can reach out to us on the website, powerful.com with no E. You can reach out to us directly as well on LinkedIn or something like that. So Matt, thanks for this conversation. I think it's much needed in our industry. It needs to be said over and over again. It needs to be rehashed and rethought through, and we're here to help.
Always a pleasure, sir. We can go back to our marketing and sales arguing now that the camera's going on. All right.
That's right.
All right, buddy. Take it easy, man. We'll see you next time.
Yep. See ya.